Hi, my name is Anne Nicholson. I'm Vice Chair of the CW Meridian branch of the Communication Workers Union, and I'd like to welcome you all to our broadcast today on behalf of the Meridian branch of the Communication Workers Union. We're pleased to welcome Kieran Golding, our Deputy Branch Secretary, Tracy Fussey from CW National Executive, and Dave T from the Telecoms and Financial Services Executive, who specialises in the consumer section. Our branch chair, Martin Shaw, is currently off screen, casting his technical spell over this broadcast. The aim today is to provide an update for our Count Me In campaign to save jobs, workplaces, terms and conditions. We would welcome comments and questions, but can I remind you that this is an open forum, so please be mindful of your language and the nature of your comments when posting. Thank you very much for joining us, and I'd now like to hand over to Kieran Golding, our Assistant Branch Secretary.
Well, thank you, Anne, and I'd like to say a huge welcome to all our friends, members and colleagues, and good evening to you all. Before I hand over to and introduce Tracy Fussey, I'd just like to reiterate a couple of things and how important it is going forward into the campaign and the next few weeks and months, how important it is to have all our records in order and up to date. I know we've been doing this a lot since the start of the Count Me In campaign, and I'm not going to apologise for asking all of you to continue to keep us updated with any changes or amendments to your membership records. The email address that you can now see on the screen is the email address that we would like you to send any changes to, but we would like you to confirm your current details as well, and including your workplace, which is very important. More so for our engineering colleagues in Openreach out in the field, and also maybe our global and technology and enterprise engineers who work in the field. Your workplace is very important. We need to know if you're a home parker or a yard parker, and if you are a yard parker, where you are parking your vehicle. That is important. And I don't apologise for keep repeating myself, but it's important for the campaign going forward. Yeah, I'd also like to say that a key aim of the campaign is to have ambassadors in the workplace. There will be ordinary members who simply need to be prepared to talk to colleagues, your teammates, your peers about the importance of voting and be engaged in the campaign in any way you can. Even the smallest contribution is important and would be really welcomed by the branch. While discussions are ongoing, we need to continue to build the pressure on BT. You are encouraged to get involved in all communications from the Communication Workers Union and from the branch, and that will include text messages, WhatsApp messages, where possible and when available. We also would encourage you to follow us on social media and share our posts, and also get involved in any live broadcasts. If you can also encourage friends, colleagues, members, peers to join us on these broadcasts and to engage with our Facebook and Twitter feeds, and also our Instagram feeds, that is also important. Talk to your colleagues, lobby the company whenever you get the chance. We will be asking members to get more involved as the campaign builds momentum, so watch this space. The main thing now is that we remain united, stay strong, and collectively we will win this battle. And as Dave Booker has Dave Booker has said before, united we stand. And you are the union, and that's very important to remember. Okay, thank you for listening, guys and girls, and I'm now going to hand over to Tracy.
Thanks, Kieran, and thanks to the branch, of course, for inviting both Dave and myself over this evening to talk to the membership. And it really is an opportunity for us to give you an update into where our discussions are with BT, because that is, I think, very important to understand that, and also what we're doing as your union in terms of progressing our campaign, the Count Me In campaign, forward. You'll be aware before Christmas at the latter end of 2020, you will have participated in a consultative ballot where 98% of you voted yes, demonstrating a willingness in terms of taking industrial action. And that really was a magnificent result and demonstrated very clearly to the company that you are very unhappy with their transformation plans that has been happening over the last 12 months or more. And this is a really significant and pivotal moment in terms of our relationship with BT. You'll all be aware of that, and certainly your response to the consultative ballot has indicated what you feel about what the company are doing as well. And it isn't just the union that is feeling this way, it is you, the membership, you as the employees of the company. We have not and are not completely against the transformation that BT are taking, but what we disagree completely in the method and how they're doing that and how they're implementing it. And this is really where we're at a bit of a problem with the company, because they're not changing the way that they're doing this. You'll all have been aware, and certainly in the southeast region, of the compulsory redundancies the company have been embarking on. And this has been one major issue that has come in ourselves and BT, in that we do not believe that the compulsory redundancies in terms of their resourcing is something that needs to happen. And we've been, we've been unable to make any movement on this whatsoever, or very small movement on this, and the company are still absolutely determined to progress with compulsory redundancies as part of their transformation plans. We have sought a moratorium with the company to halt any compulsory redundancies, but the stance from the company at the moment is that they wish to basically progress with their plans, and this obviously would not facilitate that happening. So the moratorium that we were hoping for, so we can get round the table and talk them in a sensible way in terms of working together to resolve all these resourcing issues, hasn't been achieved at the moment, and that is massively disappointing to us. So BT have basically rejected our request for that. The other major issue that's sitting there now that's come to the fore is basically BT's view on a pay rise, your pay rise or pay deal that would come for 2021. And the position of the company at the moment is that basically that there would be no pay rise, or at least a very minimum pay rise for our members in BT this year. Now, we've talked many times about the contribution that you as the employees of BT, our members, have brought in terms of the company throughout COVID, through the pandemic, and continue to do that. And, in a business as usual environment, we absolutely believe that you should be receiving recognition and that your contribution is valued by the company. So no pay rise or a very small pay rise is absolutely not acceptable, and I think is also significant in showing the way that the company is viewing you as their employees at the moment, in terms of your contribution on the back of all the other issues that the campaign has obviously focused and trying to deal with: the redundancy, the resourcing, the unagreed grading, the pay rates. All of this is highly significant and still a challenge. And we do know, and we've discussed before on these meetings, the very issue of site location and what the Better Workplace programme has talked about openly in the media many months ago. And this is still absolutely a focus into the campaign. The company are still moving forward to site closures, with various CFUs deciding where they want to be located moving forward. And certainly in the southeast, there is a major challenge in terms of no sites being confirmed at the moment in terms of sort of long-term sites for BT. So and with that open reach, so we've got some major challenges that are still there and still extremely raw between us. So in terms of the campaign, we are absolutely committed to resolving these issues with BT, but it will mean that BT will need to continue talking with us and start to listen to what we have to say and what you have to say, which is more importantly the members of this trade union, and the ones who are feeling absolutely frustrated by the stance and the direction the company are taking. And the question I know that you will all want to know is what is going to happen? What is going to happen if there is no progress with the company, and where are we going as a trade union? And the reality is that if there is no progress with BT, and if they're not going to move from their position at the moment, then we're going to have no option but to take the path of official industry and action ballot, and that's where we're going to head to. And it's not something that we certainly want to do as your trade union. We don't want to take you there at all. But, you know, if that moment comes in time that we need to do that, then we're absolutely ready, and we know that you are too. So, you know, we're hopeful that we're going to get a negotiated way through this dispute, that will be on the horizon. But, you know, we'll continue to look for that and aim for that. But, you know, I think we need to be clear, you know, that if that is not achievable and it isn't achieved, then we will ballot for industrial action. And you know, that's what you've indicated to us that you want us to do, and that is what we will do. You know, so the message at the moment is that we're still in discussions with the company. We will continue that, but we will continue, of course, to plan for the, you know, the inevitable if that does happen. One message that I would give, I think, at this point is that we want you to remain absolutely strong. We want you to maintain your contact with your branch. You know, this is a fight that we are prepared for. We're absolutely prepared for, and BT need to understand that. You know, and we will absolutely progress this through. I'll probably maybe hand over just to Dave. I think Dave probably wants to come in and just say a few words as well.
Okay, thanks, Tracy. It's really just to reiterate a lot of what Tracy said, but we really only have a narrow window of opportunity now. We've tried to get the company to talk to us in a meaningful way, and it's quite clear we're at an impasse at the moment. And if things don't change in the next few weeks, then we've all got to be ready, and we've all got to be prepared. We don't want industrial action. We've said that right from the beginning. But if BT isn't prepared to negotiate with us properly in a meaningful way, it's going to leave us with little option. So what I would say to members is that you need to make sure that all your details with the branch, as Kieran's referred to, are up to date, and to make sure we've got your addresses right, we've got your contact details right, and they're up to date, and that we need to be prepared, because if BT doesn't start talking to us properly and actually moving on some of the key issues that we've got, we face a very serious challenge. Thank you, Tracy.
Right, thank you very much to both of you, and Kieran, to all three of you, sorry, for your input and your information and your updates. It is a very serious situation that we're in. We do need everybody to get on board, get the petition signed, pass the petition out to as many people as you can, let your friends and family and everybody know just exactly what's happening. And if you can help the branch in any way, if you can assist, even just talking to your colleagues, even just passing on information, if you are prepared to do that, then come forward, speak to your branch, and let them know what's happened, that you're willing to do that. We're not asking you to commit to an awful lot of work. We're not asking you to commit to an awful lot of time, but we're just asking you to help us to get the message out. The other way that we can get the message out is to make sure, and you can keep it up to date with what's going on, is to make sure that your information's up to date, your details are up to date, as has already been mentioned on several occasions, but also to make sure that you're signed up to all of our social media platforms, WhatsApp, Facebook. All our updates are always put on these particular platforms. Make sure we've got a personal email address for you, so we can email personal information out to you. If you give us that information, then we can make sure that you've got the most up-to-date, accurate information. This is your campaign. This is your campaign. This is the members that are fighting this particular campaign. It is not the executive that are pushing this forward. It's the members that are pushing this forward, and the members will continue to push it forward. If it doesn't come, if we don't get a negotiated settlement and it does come down to strike action, it will be the members that will need to take that action. And you've already voted to say that you are prepared to do that. So let's all work together and make sure that we can get this worked through and get the company aware just how strongly we feel against the plans that they have put in place and the way that they are treating their hardworking employees who have kept the country going during the pandemic, have kept the internet running and the telephone lines running to allow people to work from home, to do what they've been doing. And they've all been working hard. They've all been doing what they could do to keep everything going. Without that effort, the company wouldn't have been able to survive. So these people have worked really hard, and they need to be appreciated, and they need to be treated properly. Are there any questions that we have? Have we had any questions, any comments? I've seen that some people have put up where they're watching from, and I really appreciate that. Northampton even, well done. Some locally as well in the southeast. Do we have any questions or anything, Martin? No, we don't seem to at the moment. If you've got any questions that you want to ask Tracy or Dave, then by all means do so. If you think of something afterwards, then contact your branch and let us know what your questions are, what your queries are.
I think, Anne, just if I can just come in, I think one of the points that we certainly do want to make today and to communicate with the members is that, you know, we really encourage every single member to make contact with the branch and to get involved in every single piece of communication and engagement that is coming from your branch or centrally from the union. You know, follow us on social media. That we've got, you know, our communications department is absolutely hot on all comms avenues that we have and that's available to us. So you follow us on all and share all the content, share all the posts with everybody, not just with your colleagues, but share them with the wider public as well. You know, and certainly, you know, any live broadcast that we're doing, you know, do get involved, come and watch us. We you know, the unions run on representative structure, but you know, there's nothing more important and more influential at times like this than you as the members and you, the people that are actually working across all the functions across BT and Openreach. You know, and lobby the company whenever there's an opportunity to lobby the company and tell them exactly what we feel. You know, we've got obviously the survey go out from the company, and I hope every single one of you has let the company know consistently of how you feel about how they're treating you and how they're treating your colleagues. You know, so you know, we're asking you to become more involved. It's really important. This campaign is absolutely about every single one of you. It's not about people in the city or up the road. This is about every single one of you in terms of your terms and conditions, your future, your job security. So, you know, please, you know, if you take one thing away from tonight, this is really important now. And you know, certainly over the coming weeks and the coming months, you know, your activity and your involvement and your support is absolutely vital to us. So, you know, that's kind of the message. We want you to stay united. We know that you will do, because we already know that's happening. You know, please stay strong. You know, and collectively, we will win this battle. It is a battle, because this is not just about, you know, the future of us here and now. This is about the legacy that we leave for everybody else that's coming into being, their job security, and for all those, you know, members that we have and still have, in terms of those that have been redundant over the, you know, preceding weeks. I think they can tell you many tales and many stories of what it feels like in terms of what it means to them and what it means to their family to lose the job after working pretty loyally for many years. There is no good way to make somebody compulsory redundant. There is nothing good about it whatsoever. So, you know, if people in the company think there's a good way of doing it, I can assure you that the end product is not a good thing at all. And it's massively quite disingenuous to say that. So, but you know, stay strong. We will win this battle, and we'll win it because, you know, we're a great trade union, and we know we will support you all the way.
Thank you very much, Tracy. Yes, we have been putting up the new list, the new email address. Make a note of the new email address. for Meridian branch members and pass it on to your colleagues if you know of anybody that wasn't actually watching this evening or hasn't actually seen this yet. But you can always pick this up on Facebook or other social media platforms at a later date. So please make sure that you listen, you watch what's going on. As Tracy said, yes, make sure that we've got all the information that we need, and you keep up to date with what's happening. This is your campaign. This is your fight, and we need to make sure that we all get involved and do as much or as little as we can along the way. We have been asked if there's any further information on specific buildings, and to the best of my knowledge at this precisely moment on time, I can pass the question on to Dave T, because I don't think we've got any further updates. Dave, do you have any answers on that question that's on the screen at the moment?
Well, I'll be honest with you, Jan. It's been, from a consumer perspective, from nationally, it's been incredibly frustrating. We meet Nick Lane, and we've pushed him on his site strategy for consumer, and he's unwilling to share with us what his site strategy is. Clearly, we're expecting some announcements, but there is absolutely nothing confirmed about Beckett House. But we have pushed Nick Lane on a number of occasions, not just obviously about specific buildings, but in general what the strategy is. Lots of other parts of BT have made it very clear what their property strategy is, and where they intend to be in the future. But consumer has remained silent on the issue. So I think we've got nothing to announce. There's nothing we can say about Beckett House, and we do have a team that deals with what they call the Better Workplace programme. So we have a team nationally that deals with that. But I've got nothing to add. But other than that, we do push Nick Lane as often as we can when we meet him to be clear about the strategy. And I'm afraid he isn't.
Thank you very much, Dave. That's very kind of you to answer that. It is extremely frustrating, very, very difficult. Tracy, would you be able to answer the next question that's come up? Do you have anything to say on the next question that's come up?
Yeah, I think you mean the one from Alan, and he makes reference to C3 graded jobs being lost in Brighton. Yeah, look, and this is a major issue as well, and there's lots of I think lots of things in the media at the moment about fire and rehire, and there's a lot of people saying that BT's the way that BT is operating at the moment is very much skirting around the edges of this. But I think, look, Alan's quite right to bring this point up. We have got people higher graded roles that are leaving the company, and the challenge is that work is coming, work that comes back in is going on to lower graded roles, and certainly not going to be those grades again. And this is one of the issues. Certainly, is one of the headline issues that we've got with the company at the moment is about the grading. In terms of what that ends up like, how that results for our members moving forward, and like I said, it's about the legacy that we leave in terms of people's ability to move through the company and have a proper career progression and the correct remuneration for the job that they do, and all of that is a massive challenge for us. So we want to get involved, and we want the company to talk to us about strategic resourcing and the bigger and overarching discussions around resourcing at group and CFU level. And this is a challenge that we've got at the moment. We don't see any need for a lot of the changes that are being brought in by BT. We understand transformation. We know every company has to make that. And as I said at the beginning, that isn't something that we're not necessarily not understanding, but it's the method. It's the the principles that BT are applying in terms of how they want to go there that we've got major issues with, and certainly the grading issues is one of the ones that we don't believe is being managed fairly. And it's certainly not consistent, and so that's one of the issues that we've got. But it's certainly for anybody out there, it's not going to be sorted anytime soon by the look of it.
Thank you very much, Tracy. Yes, it is a very difficult situation. It is, and that is one of the ongoing problems that we're having at the moment. And as you can see, the executive is doing its best to try and negotiate with the company and get answers to these questions and get these things sorted out so that they aren't problems won't continue into the future. As far as if you want to get involved, basically the information that we're looking at, what involvement we're looking for, could be putting posters up on notice boards. It could be just speaking to your colleagues. If we do get to the unfortunate situation where we do have to have a ballot for industrial action because we haven't been able to get any further negotiations sorted out and the company have not been prepared to negotiate with us, then what we will be asking people to do is to encourage their colleagues to vote for yes for industrial action. We do need to get that, and there may well be, basically it's going to be a case of pushing your colleagues, pushing out information to other people and making sure that everybody's aware of what's going on. There may well be the need that we actually need to do some ring rounds. We need to organise the phone banking system. There might be something that we need to ask volunteers to help with that for. At the moment, basically, it's all get involved, be aware of what's going on and make sure that you're passing on the correct information. You're lobbying the company, you're lobbying your MPs, you're lobbying and answering any requests for information. When the branch want you to do something, want something happening, then they'll let you know. But if you can volunteer to be an ambassador, then we will be very, very grateful for that. And we will let you know what needs to be done at the time. If you're not in a position to help us completely with everything we ask you to do, then that's fine. But if we get as many people as possible, and we get as many people involved as we can, then the more people we've got, the better. Right. Have we got anything else, Martin? Any more questions? I can't see anything else coming up at the moment. If you've got any other questions, then let me know. Right. Tracy, have you got anything final you'd like to say?
Well, just to reiterate, you know, look, we know this is a really difficult and challenging time for all of you, and you know, we want you to stay absolutely strong, and we want you to stay, you know, giving a clear message to the company of how you see the future, you know, and what your expectation is for the company to do as your employer. So absolutely, please stay in contact with your branch. Please listen to all the communiques that we send you, read them, and get involved. And I would suggest over the coming weeks, we'll certainly be back in contact with you and give you a further update in terms of where we are. You know, as to reiterate, we are still talking to BT, and you know, if we don't get the movement that we need in terms of resolving a lot of those issues that sit on the table between us, and we certainly will be calling you and asking you to come on further meeting. We'll be very clear in terms of where then we'll be going in terms of the campaign.
Thank you very much, Tracy. And the other thing to remember is, sorry, I'm going to call Dave. Did you want anything? Do you want to say anything else to wrap up? Sorry, Martin. You're on mute, Dave.
That's my fault. The telly's on in the background. Apologies. I was probably going to repeat what Tracy said, but we have to. Nobody should underestimate the seriousness of the situation that we're in. And I think, if anything, tonight, members should go away and they should talk to other members and even non-members and recruit them, telling them how serious this is. This union hasn't faced a threat like this for decades, absolute decades. And it's one of the most serious fights we're in. We are trying to work with the company to resolve these issues, but we only have a narrow window of opportunity to resolve this. And as it stands at the moment, the impasse that we've reached, we are facing a really serious fight and a serious challenge. And that's just really to repeat what Tracy said. But if anybody goes away from this call thinking this is going to be easily solved, then I'm afraid that's not the case. We are in a really serious fight to resolve this. And I have to say, you have to say to BT, if you're not prepared to come and talk seriously and find a way through this, we're going to be left with little option. So members really need to understand how serious it is. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dave. Yes, and the other thing that I was going to say just now was that what you do need to bear in mind, because negotiations are still ongoing, we are still talking to the company. It may well be that you don't get any further updates for a little while, but don't be despondent. Things are happening in the background, and all the time discussions are going on. There may not be anything else to add, but keep informed, keep in touch with your branch, and let us. We will do our best to get to this, resolve this situation. Kieran, did you want to add anything else? You're mute. Kieran, you're on mute.
Yeah, I thought my technical guru was helping me out there. I'd just like to reiterate again what Tracy, Dave, and what you said, Anne. I know members probably get tired of hearing us ask for their details, but the decision to ballot for industrial action will be a last resort. And there are significant, and I'm going to repeat that word, there's significant legal hurdles to overcome. And the law favours the employer. And losing a ballot will have catastrophic consequences for all of us. So we have to get it right. And all of you, uppercase you the members, you the union, we have a role, you have a role to play to ensure that you win a ballot. And again, that's just saying, add to that, it's so important to have the records. And it is the home address and also your workplace. And if you're a mobile engineer, where you park your van, either at home or in a yard. And also, if you do park in the yard, what yard you park in, what exchange you park in. And it may be boring you and sending you all to sleep, but it's so important. And going back regarding the legal repercussions that could be had if we don't get the ballot right, if we get to that stage. And that's all I have to say. Thank you, Anne.
Thank you, Kieran. Right, if there are no more questions or anything else, I would just like to thank Dave, Tracy, and Kieran, and Martin for this evening, for this broadcast. Make sure your friends and family are aware of it. Make sure everybody's, pass it around. You can view this again. If people have missed it, they can pick it up again and get the updates. Watch what's coming out from your branch. Watch what's coming out from the union. If you're not getting updates from your branch or from headquarters, then contact the branch or contact headquarters and find out how you can get those updates so that you know everything that's going on as well. Make sure your details are up to date, and we can let the company know that we're all behind this and we're all working together to make sure that we can get this sorted out. Get this. We want a negotiated settlement. But if we don't get a negotiated settlement, you've already said, as members of this union, that you're prepared to take that matter further. So that's what may well need to happen. I thank you all very much for joining us today, and I wish you all the very best. Stay safe, stay warm, stay safe. You've all been working very hard out in the community, and I know that that's something that's always has been hard for an awful lot of people to deal with during the last year. So stay safe and good luck to everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anne.